Hi everyone, welcome to Sage's Garage. Today we are here working on a different car for this channel. It is my boyfriend Aiden's 2016 Chevrolet Cruze Premier RS. It is a 1.4 liter turbo. Now unfortunately a few days ago he had some issues with the braking and I will explain all that to you, but today we are here to fix it. So we were out driving the other day and all of a sudden an alert popped up in the car saying service brake assist, and then the next time he went to brake at a red light, the brakes were extremely stiff and they required a lot of extra force to brake, and even with that extra force it was still not braking normally at all. Even as a passenger, I could tell that the brakes were not functioning correctly. So obviously that was alarming to us and we weren't expecting it. And you could also feel a crunchy feeling in the brake, which obviously is not good. So he immediately went online and tried to figure out what was causing the problem. And it turns out there is a common cause of this issue in these cars, and it is the vacuum pump failing. So in order to test it, what he did is he popped the hood and then he disconnected the vacuum pump hose, went ahead and turned on the car, and then he put his finger over the hole. Now, because it is a vacuum pump, obviously you should feel lots of suction, but with the car turned on, there was absolutely zero suction, and that is when he knew that his vacuum pump had failed. We went ahead and ordered a new vacuum pump, and we're gonna fix it today, but I want to let you know that this fix actually also applies to 2016 to 2019 Chevy Cruzes, as well as 2016 to 2019 Malibus with the 1.4 liter turbo engine. And there's also a few other cars that this fix works for, so I'm gonna pop those up on the screen. Okay, so I haven't tested out the brake yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and see how it feels because apparently it's pretty stiff. Oh, wow. Oh my God. Do you see my legs shaking? Look at my muscle. I'm like fully pressing as hard as I can. You can see that's like crazy and I still can't even like, that's insane. That's crazy. Like that, yeah. I could not drive the car like that. That's crazy. And now I'm hearing that it's actually even more stiff when the car is in drive. That is insane. I would definitely crash the car. I couldn't do it. Okay, the car is in drive. I'm gonna try and let off the brake and then, oh wow. That is tough. For sure. So this is the vacuum pump and this is the part that we're going to be replacing, but to get to it there are a few other things we have to dismantle first. So we're going to start by taking off the engine cover. We're using a T30 torque bit, and then we're going to go ahead and take off the oil cover, and that way the whole cover can come off. This is the turbo air cooler hose, and we're going to be taking that off next. There are two clips that can be easily removed with a flathead screwdriver and then just pulling them off. One is there, and then one is at the bottom near the radiator hose. And then as you can see here, there is a bolt attaching the hose, and we have to undo that one as well. Now we're going to go ahead and take off the vacuum pump hose. We were able to get this ratchet, this 9mm socket onto the bolt here under the hose, and now I'm just going to go ahead and try and loosen it up. But it is giving us some problems, but it's definitely loosens a good bit. So yeah, now I'm just loosening up that bolt, and now I'm really scared because I don't know where it is. We were able to get it loosened all the way, so I've got that bolt here, and now this hose is free. Sort of. It's free just over here, but now there's all these hoses in the way. In order to get this hose more out of the way so we can easily get to these bolts, we're going to take off this hose now, and we're just going to use some vice grips. I know you all hate them, but we're just going to try and wiggle this guy off. We're actually going to leave this hose, and we're also going to leave the bottom clip because we have it enough out of the way right now, so we're just going to leave it. Now there's just 3 bolts to undo, so we're using a socket for that. We were able to get all 3 bolts off. They were various locations around the vacuum pump, and now we're just going to cross our fingers that we have room to just pull this right out. Ta-da! And now we're also curious if it's going to look broken, because we saw some people's that were very obviously broken, but this one does not look obviously broken. So here is a good look at the vacuum pump. And yeah, there's lots of gunk, but it doesn't look broken. We saw ones that was like noticeably broken in there, and here is where it came off of. So we noticed that under this little bit inside there is a bunch of gunk, and we're thinking that it possibly could have affected maybe the connection or the air intake or the expulsion of air. So we will see.
That's completely clogged.
Interesting. So you can see it is completely clogged up in there, like fully. To me, it looks like carbon, like carbonization maybe, but it could also be metal bits. It could be, I don't even know what that could be, but
Oh yeah.
it looks like carbonous.
No, it's hard. It could be carbon.
It's like rocks, guys. It's what it feels like. It feels like little rocks, but it could totally be carbon. Yeah, there is an awful lot in there. So we've got the new vacuum pump here, and it obviously looks so much cleaner. But as you can see, this is where we took that little weird part off. And here is the same, and obviously, as you can tell, there's no gunk, there's nothing blocking it. It does have a different size torque bit, which is interesting, but we're not gonna take it off because as you can see, obviously, we know that that gunk was not supposed to be there, and we are pretty sure that that is our culprit. So one thing that we wanted to make sure and check out was that because of where this is, it could actually cause damage to the camshaft depending on what the issue with the vacuum pump is. So we were slightly worried about that, but not super worried because it didn't seem like there was anything else wrong with the car. But now, looking at it, there's no broken metal or anything, so we can pretty much safely say there's no issues with the camshaft. So we wanted to clean in here because we realized that if there's carbon on the part, there's gonna be carbon in there. And here is what we saw. So there's definitely a lot of carbon in there as well, but we're not quite sure how to clean that out so that it doesn't clog up the next part. So now we're just putting in the new part, making sure everything lines up. We're cleaning out some more carbon from in here, and it's just crazy how much is in there. We were able to get it into position. It did take some wiggling, but now it's in place, and we're just gonna go ahead and hand tighten the bolts so it stays in place. So it took a ton of wiggling and jiggling to get this in the right orientation to line up with the screw holes, but we were able to, and then we went ahead and hand tightened all 3 of the bolts, and now we are just using that same socket to tighten them all the way. All right, this is officially on, the new vacuum pump, hooray. Now what we've got to do is just reconnect this hose and basically just put everything back together. Now we're reattaching that bracket that the hose was attached to. Now we are reinstalling that clip so that the hose stays in place. Okay, so we were able to get that clip on. It was difficult. The little black things fall off, so make sure if you're doing this that you don't lose the little black outer parts. And then make sure the silver ends that curve up, that they curve upwards rather than downwards. So he's gonna go ahead and start up the car before we put the cover on, just to see if there's any suction. Moment of truth, everybody. There we go. That's some serious suction. Yay. All right. Oh my God, that's horrifying. Oh, that's so scary. Yeah, that's a lot of suction. That's so scary. Yeah, there's a lot of suction, so hooray, we got it working. Now we're gonna reassemble the top part of the engine, so we're putting the foam back on. All right, amazing, it's all back together. And then last but not least, we are putting that vacuum hose back on, and there we go. Okay, so we just turned on the car for the first time, and he's just testing out the brakes, and right now they feel pretty loose to him, and when he's pumping it, you can really hear the air. So I hope you guys can hear it in the clip I took, but yeah, you can really hear the air coming out of the brakes. Okay, so he just did some like slow driving and braking just in the same spot in the driveway, and he said it feels really spongy and definitely not normal. So maybe we didn't fix it. It sounds like there's some air in the brake, so what we're doing is we're disconnecting this hose again, and then with the car off, we're just pumping the brake just to try and get some air out. So now, as you can hear, there's absolutely no air left because we pumped it a few times, so that is great. Okay guys, so what I'm doing right now is I am pumping the brake. You can't see me. Now we're gonna test it out. It seems like there's no air in there, which is great. Turning the car on and see how the brakes feel. You can move it forward a bit if you want. No? Okay, so apparently it's still not feeling good. Okay, so we're trying a few things. Excuse the beeping. So now I'm in the driver's seat. He has now disconnected the hose, and I am holding down the brake. I will show you. I hope you can see there, but I'm basically holding it down. I know I'm using 2 feet. Sorry if that's embarrassing, but I could not hold it with one. But I'm just holding it down. We're trying not to let any air get into it, and then hopefully it will be okay. So fingers crossed.
Okay, now I connected it.
So we did a few things. It doesn't seem like it's 100% working, so we're just taking it out for a drive. And thankfully I live in the middle of nowhere, so we don't need to worry about safety necessarily. But we're just gonna test it. We're gonna brake slowly, calmly, see if we can get it to work, and then maybe heavily. The brake might be good now, but I will get back to you once we know. Okay, we are pulling out of the driveway and just gonna test it out. We'll get a review. Perfect? Okay, oh my god. Okay, sounds like it's working well. See, it feels like it's working well. Oh my god. I mean, it seems perfect. Okay, seems perfect to me and to him, so, oh my god. That feels like working brakes to me. Okay, Slay, now we go celebrate at McDonald's. Whoop whoop! What the heck?
It's because I had to brake. But I had to. I put my forward.
I hope you guys heard that, but the guy thinks we're insane. Oh well. We're fixing our brakes. Oh my god! Oh my god, that car that just honked at us, did a U-turn, came back towards us, like drove towards us as though they were gonna hit us, but not actually, like purposely towards us, and then aggressively flipped us off. Yikes. I said we're on country roads, we're in the middle of nowhere, and yet one person that passed us decided to be really upset at us testing our brakes. That was crazy. Anyways, Aiden was saying that he's never felt the brake, like it's been a long time since he felt the brakes feeling this good. So it makes sense that as that carbon was building up, slowly and slowly the brakes were, you know, getting less and less and having more difficult time engaging. But he didn't notice it because, you know, it was a slow buildup of carbon until all of a sudden there was too much carbon. But now the brakes are feeling great, and that's awesome, and I really hope that this guy is not following us. We took the car out for a good drive. We were driving for about 10 minutes. We really tested out the brakes, and they are 100% good. So it's good to know that if you feel that air, if you're doing this, or if you have this problem, that it's all good. You just need to kind of get the car driving and get everything back in order. After about 10 minutes of driving, the check engine light actually went off, which is really great because the car went through a few engine cycles. That is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned some stuff from today's video. I know I certainly did. And yeah, it was really great that we were able to fix this problem, and now the car is running great and the brakes work, which is obviously really important. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!